Velvet ASMR. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It's been a really long time, but I'm really glad that you're here with me, so thank you for being here. I missed you. Okay, so I thought a good way to pick back up on my channel would be to revisit a field guide to the wildlife of North America. I still have it bookmarked from where we last left off. And if y'all remember correctly, or if you're new, you'll know that it was in the midst of the birds section. And we left off at the Canada goose. Canada goose. Now, I've got a window over here that's bringing in some nice light, but it might have a little bit of glare on the picture, okay? So, I'll do my best. So, let's get started. We've got the Canada goose, Branta canadensis. Branta canadensis. You can see its range all through North America. They're so pretty. The Canada goose can be found right across North America at different times of year. It flies in a V formation during migrations and often stops to feed. Its diet consists of aquatic vegetation, grain, grass, and small aquatic animals. And populations are increasing as it extends its range into city parks and golf courses. Birds in the northern areas tend to be smaller, and there is some color variation, with eastern birds generally paler. The Canada goose makes a nest in a hollow lined with plant material and down, usually in an open area close to water. The 2 to 12 eggs are incubated by the female for 25 to 30 days. The male defends his mate and chicks aggressively, initially warning and then attacking if an intruder persists. That's why they're really aggressive. Young birds are downy, so fluffy, and leave the nest shortly after hatching, though they remain with their parents until the following spring. And let's see, so their size is about 2 to 3.5 feet in length, and their wingspan can be anywhere between 4 and 6 feet. I knew that they had a pretty large wingspan, but I didn't realize that they were that big. But they're pretty big birds, so I guess that makes sense. They have a black head and neck, a white chin strap, and a white breast, dark back, and then a white undertail. And a similar species is the Brant goose. It's usually smaller with dark front and belly, which is funny. It's called a Brant goose. I've never heard of a Brant goose, but considering the Canada goose Latin like binomial nomenclature. I don't know why I got nerdy on you guys, sorry. Is Branta canadensis. That sounds a lot like Brant goose, so it's interesting. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so next we have a mallard. Mallard, which is a type of duck, or just duck. Anas platyrancos. Let's go with that. Platy makes me think of platypus, and then rhynchos or rhynchos, like right, like nose, talking about its bill. It's got like a flat-billed duck. That's probably what that means. So I'll give you a closer look real quick. And you can see its range. The mallard is common across most of North America. It is also the ancestor of most domestic ducks. Though it lives in the wild, it is probably most familiar around cities and in parks where it may be fed. Female mallards are the ones that quack. I did not know that. They don't both quack. It dabbles for food, going tail up to forage for aquatic plants, insects, snails, and small fish. The nest is built in vegetation close to water, in a hollow lined with grass, stems, and down, and contains 5 to 14 eggs. These are incubated for just under a month by the female. The chicks, which leave the nest shortly after they hatch, can fly after about 8 weeks. Juvenile mallards look rather like the female bird, but the bill is dark olive in color. And they're really cute. They're about 2 feet in length. Description. So the male, so this is a male right here. The male has a green head. You can see the green head. And a gray body with a white collar. The females are the ones that are brown. I wish they would have put both of them on here, but often, pretty much almost always, as far as I know, the case with birds is that the males are usually the ones with the more beautiful, brightly colored, fancy plumage, and the females are rather just plain, as we would describe them anyways, because they're the ones who are selecting their mates, and so the competition is within the males, and whoever has the most beautiful plumage clearly is the healthiest and the most fertile, and so that's how the females decide who they're going to mate with. And my family, or part of my family, is from Mississippi, so I grew up duck hunting, and we often call the boy ducks drakes, and then the girl ducks are called Susies. So you've got a drake right here, but no Susie. Next we have the northern pintail, Anas acuta. Anas acuta? I know I'm probably saying that wrong. And this looks like another type of duck, maybe? I don't know much about birds, so I'm learning a lot of this alongside you guys, if you don't know that much about birds. So, you can see it's quite pretty. Northern pintail. Okay. The northern pintail is found across most of North America at different times of year. It breeds in the north and migrates south to winter. Preferring open areas, it is more common in the west. It dabbles for food in shallow water, foraging for snails, crustaceans, and small fish on the bottom. It will also eat seeds and insects. Like other dabbling ducks, it can launch itself into flight from the water without needing to run across the surface. The nest is a hollow made of plant material and lined with down, containing 6 to 12 eggs. The chicks leave the nest shortly after hatching. They do not fly for another 7 weeks. Juvenile northern pintails resemble the female. And they're pretty small. They're about 1.5 to 2 feet in length. The male has a white breast, so I guess they're showing us another male. The male has a white breast. Thin white stripe up to brown head. Oh, right there, you can see it. Thin white stripe up to its brown head. A gray body, long dark tail feathers. And the female is buff brown with a long tail, grayish bill. Both have metallic brown-green patch on their upper wing. And it looks like we've got one more duck in here. Common merganser. I feel like I've seen that word once before, but I've never actually heard it used. Common merganser. Merganser. I love it when animals have stupid Latin names like that, where it's like repetitive. Merganser. It sounds like an old Scottish man. Okay, you can see Mr. Merganser right here. In this range. The common merganser? I really should have looked that up beforehand. The common merganser is found across much of North America at different times of year, moving southwards in winter. It can form quite large flocks, favoring wooded rivers and lakes in breeding season. A diving duck, it pursues its prey underwater, hunting small frogs. Hunting small frogs, fish, aquatic invertebrates, and newts. Like other mergansers, the common merganser has a long and narrow bill with a hooked mandible and serrated edges. Ooh. It is sometimes called the sawbill. Okay, I've heard that term by hunters. Well, that explains it. It nests in a cavity in a tree or log or among rocks, and the nest is lined with a massive down. There are 9 to 12 eggs. These are incubated by the female for about a month. The chicks, which leave the nest soon after hatching, start flying at 8 to 10 weeks of age. And they're about 2 feet in length. The male is mostly white. Has a black back, green head. It's a really pretty duck, actually. I like these. I think I've seen like decoys and like wooden ducks resembling this type, the sawbill. It's really pretty. And the female is gray with a rusty red head and white throat. Ooh, I wish we had a picture of that. That sounds really pretty. It does look kind of goofy though, like that little tiny. And its habitat is woodland lakes and rivers, generally freshwater. Similar species. It says that the male is distinct, but female red-breasted merganser looks similar to the female, but contrast between head and neck coloring is clearer. Merganser. Okay, I think I said it right the first time, and then I kind of said like merganser. Merganser. Okay, next we have one of my favorite types of birds. The turkey vulture. I really like vultures. They're like nature's sanitation crew, and they don't get enough credit for the really important work that they do. Turkey vulture, Cathartes aura. Turkey vulture. The turkey vulture is widespread and glides over open country during the day, barely flapping its wings, scanning for food, which this large carrion feeder detects by the smell. Ideally, it prefers its meat to be quite ripe, making it easier to detach from the bones. Feeding can be messy. Many birds will converge to feed on a single carcass, and the turkey vulture often roosts in flocks. There is no nest, and 1 to 3 eggs are laid on the ground in a cave, hollow log, or old building. These are incubated by both adults for about 40 days. Approximately 11 weeks after hatching, the young birds are ready to leave. A juvenile has a darker gray head and bill and can easily be mistaken for a black vulture. Those are really pretty too. In winter, the more northerly populations move southwards, away from snow-covered areas. Turkey vulture. And they're about 2 feet in length. They have 5 to 5.5 foot wingspan. They're large, black-gray body, gray edging to the wings, bare red head, yellow feet, and glides with wings held in a shallow V shape. Its habitat is open country, woodland, and farms. And similar species include the black vulture, has a gray head, shorter tail, and resembles juvenile except for tail and flight pattern. Alright, next we have the bald eagle. Bald eagle. Ooh, that is a word. Haliaeetus? Haliaeetus. We're gonna go with that. Haliaeetus leucocephalus. I'll let you look at that. The bald eagle has been the symbol of the U.S. since 1782 and is seen across most of North America, especially close to water. Endangered as recently as the 1970s, it is beginning to recover due to conservation programs. It eats carrion or steals fish from the osprey, though it is an accomplished hunter. Large numbers will gather where food is easy to find, particularly at spawning runs. Its eyrie is a large heap of sticks, usually in a tall tree by water, and may be as high as 150 feet. The nest is not abandoned, but revisited and repaired each year until being brought down by either its own weight or winter weather. Both adults incubate the 1 to 3 eggs for up to 35 days. Chicks leave the nest about 10 weeks after hatching. Juveniles may take 5 years to attain their full adult plumage, getting whiter with each molt. Initially, they are mostly dark brown. And they're about 3 feet in length with a wingspan of 6.5 feet. And they're white on the head, neck, and tail, this brown-black body, bright yellow bill. Its habitat are rivers, lakes, coastal areas, and it says that the adult is unmistakable. Juvenile resembles young golden eagle, but has larger head, shorter tail, and less defined patterning. Alright, we are going to be in this bird section for quite some time. That's how long we have until we get to the reptiles and amphibians section. So, all you bird nerds, buckle in, because we're going to be doing birds for quite some time. So, next we have golden eagle. Golden eagle. Aquila chrysaetos. Aquila chrysaetos. Aquila chrysaetos. I think Aquila was my host mother's name when I studied abroad in Spain. Interesting. first name or her last name? Because if her first name was Eagle, that's fucking dope. I'm gonna look that up. So Aquila is both a boy's name and a girl's name, and it means eagle, obviously. Her name was Eagle. How did I not realize that? That is so cool. So, golden eagle. An essentially solitary bird of prey, the golden eagle may be seen in pairs, but seldom in groups. Widespread, it is more common in the West and prefers wilderness areas well away from people. It soars with its wings held flat or slightly uplifted. It feeds on small mammals, birds, snakes, and carrion, though it is able to take a larger animal. There are persistent rumors about it taking livestock, particularly lambs, but it rarely does. The area is a mass of sticks on a cliff or high in a tree, and a pair may use different sites, alternating between them in different years. The 2 eggs are incubated for as long as 44 days by both birds. Chicks leave the nest 10 weeks after hatching. Juveniles are dark brown with a white wing patch and a white tail with a black band at the tip. After 4 years, they have full adult plumage. They're about 2.5 to 3 feet with a 6.5 foot wingspan. Whew. They have dark brown plumage on the body and a golden nape. They're very pretty. Their habitat are mountains, plains, and open country. And it says that similar species, the adult is unmistakable, but juvenile, like young bald eagle, has smaller head, longer tail, and more defined black markings. So next we have is the osprey. It looks kind of goofy. The osprey. Pandion haliatus. Pandion haliatus. Osprey. The osprey is sometimes called the fishhawk and is reasonably common in coastal areas. It is sometimes seen along rivers and above lakes inland. It feeds almost exclusively on fish, catching them by soaring over the water and diving down rapidly, talons first. Ospreys were threatened by the heavy use of pesticides, but populations are beginning to recover since many bans were introduced. The bulky nest is built in a tall tree or in any tall structure near water, even on specially constructed platforms, and is reused year after year. It contains 2 to 4 eggs, usually incubated by the female for about a month. Young ospreys are white and downy and leave the nest about 8 weeks after they hatch. Female ospreys may have darker streaking on the neck, and juveniles are somewhat similar but with white scaling on the back. And they're about 2 feet with a 5 foot wingspan. They have long, narrow wings, dark body above, white below, white head with dark eye stripe, and dark patch on the underside of their wings. We used to have, I used to see ospreys on the river when we lived near the coast in North Carolina, out near Jacksonville. They were always really fun to see when I would go stand-up paddleboarding on the water. And we'll do one more before we wrap up. And our last bird of the day is the northern harrier, Circus cyaneus. Northern harrier. It kind of looks like an owl and a hawk had a baby. Now let me get on this side so that you can properly see while I read. Okay. Common and widespread across most of North America. The northern harrier spends summer in the north and migrates south for the winter. It is usually seen flying low, gliding with its wings in a shallow V, hunting for small rodents, birds, frogs, and reptiles over the wetlands and open fields it prefers. black wingtips and a barred tail show in flight. During migration, it may soar, and the courtship display is acrobatic. The nest is built on a platform of reeds and grass in marshes. It was previously called the marsh hawk. Oh, okay. And let's see, contains 4 to 6 eggs, which the female northern harrier incubates for just over a month. Young birds remain in the nest for up to 5 weeks and are fed by the female through the male, though the male brings the food to the nest. Okay, so dad goes and hunts and then the mom actually feeds them. Juvenile birds resemble the female but have cinnamon-colored undersides. Oh, that's cute. Cinnamon-dusted undersides. And they are about 1.5 to 2 feet in length, so they're not too big. The wingspan is 3.5 feet. Oh, they're so petite. Their description is they have long wings and tail. The male is light gray above the white with a white rump, white underside with reddish spots. Female with brown above, white rump, brown streaks below. The habitat is wetlands, marshes, and open fields, and they say that they are an unmistakable species. So, no similar species to these. But if you're not a bird person, like myself, I would think that looks like any other hawk or falcon or small bird of prey that I don't know how to identify. I was just about to say like a red-tailed hawk, but clearly I guess you can see the difference, but if I just saw it from a distance and I wasn't using binoculars or anything, I wouldn't know the difference. Let's be honest. Plus I have really bad eyesight. Alright, so I'll give you a sneak peek like I usually do. Got the red-tailed hawk for next time, and the American kestrel. It's a little cutie, American kestrel. So we're just gonna bookmark it. Alright, well, thank you again, guys, for joining me. I really miss making ASMR. Life has been absolutely insane, even though I graduated from my degree program back in December of 2022. And I got my wildlife biology degree. Work and just life in general has been really, really, really busy since then, and it just hasn't really afforded me time to record ASMR, or not even have the time, but have the mental capacity or just being in the right space to record. So it feels really good to make this video for you guys again, and I hope you really enjoy it. And really quick, I'm gonna do a quick show and tell because I've got some fun new little things back here that I don't think you've seen before. So this is an antique metal picture frame that was thrifted by my friend Kat. Beautiful find. I love the detail on that. And then I just added some dried flowers. And when I was at Turnip Truck getting snacks, I was about to check out and I found this beeswax frog candle. Is that not the cutest little frog? He's on his belly. I will absolutely never light this candle. It's just too freaking cute. So cute. And we moved, I don't know, a couple months ago or so, and we were doing some lawn work, and we were taking out these really ugly bushes that we had in our front yard, and we found not one, but 2 dead cats in the bushes. One was like a recently deceased one, like a couple days old at most. It looked like it was probably just ready to bite the dust, so I think it just found safety in the hedges for it to peacefully pass along. And then after I moved it and we finished clearing out the bushes and everything, we found a cat skeleton. There was nothing left, just the bones. And I saved and cleaned them. This isn't all of them. I have all of the long leg bones and ribs in a mason jar near my desk downstairs. I just think they're super beautiful. I really like decorating with nature, even if it's deceased things. So I know some people might think that's kind of morbid and not super cute or fun, but I think there's beauty in life and death, and I just think bones are stunning. They're just so pretty. So you can see got a hip bone right here. Ooh. Bone on wood sounds good. Oh, that sounds. That's pretty. And then we've got jawbone. It's teepees. Then assorted vertebrae. Like, I kind of want to make some jewelry out of them, but I also just really like having a plate of bones as decor in my house, so I don't know, we'll see. Maybe when the other cat is done taking its natural course outside, I'll probably harvest its bones as well to clean and process them. I think these are little feetsies. I think it's like the foot bone. So I like to think now we have at least 2 that we know of, little kitty spirits guarding our house. So, yeah. Alright. Anas Rhynchos. I was not prepared for that one. Okay, let's try that again. So it's lazy, even though it's fully capable of hunting, just like an American. I'm just kidding. To keep the politics out of this. The females are the brown ones, often with birds. Insects tend to be the same. Well, that's not true. Is that true? Let's erase that.